Well, good afternoon. This is a little bit of a continuation from the previous bottle. You'll see why, because that's the problem when you open a good bottle of wine. At least when people like it, well, it's finished very quickly, and then you have a plan B. So you open something else, which is what I had to do yesterday after the Chateau d'Isson. I opened this Peirson Meyer Maquette 2014. So it's a Napa wine. It's still, primarily sort of Bordeaux variety. So I thought it would be both consistent and maybe a little bit of a contrast with the Chateau d'Isson, which was primarily Cabernet Sauvignon, as we discussed. Anyway, we really enjoyed it, and I figured I'd share this with you a little bit today. Now, this is a very small boutique sort of wine shop. They're basically both founders, Peirson and Meyer, met at Peter Michael. This is where they work. This is where they kind of made their chops, if you want. And then they decided to start this winery not too long ago, maybe, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years ago. And they don't make a lot of wine. They have a couple of reds, and they have some Chardonnay, and they have I think a Pinot and a Rosé. So kind of experimentation with different things. I don't really know them much at all. I sort of saw this wine at a tasting, and I figured I'd try a couple of bottles. The story behind it and the way they present themselves looked interesting to me. This is 2014, which was a very good year, and a very lush year in Napa. So I think it's a good time to be drinking this. This is more of a right bank blend. So we're talking Cabernet Sauvignon is a minority, and you've got Merlot and Cabernet Franc who play big roles. Even if Cabernet remains the biggest one, I think it's 45%, and the others, split the rest. Fruit from Canafic Ranch, which we got to know with our wines at Relic. So I would imagine that's probably the Cabernet Franc. But let's see what we have here. The color is a little more red, really, than the Bordeaux. We're used to this. The nose is just really so plush, so rich, so fruity. I mean, it's great because it's just sort of so generous. I get a lot of sort of blackberry, sweet blueberries, a little bit of dark chocolate also on the nose. That sort of slight bitterness that you get with that. It's just very aromatic, and it's really enjoyable that way. It's very alcoholic. This is a wine. You see the legs on the glass stay on for a long time. You can see that here in the reflection. It's basically what you'd expect. On the palate, the attack is just fruit, just big explosion of fruit. Then in the mid palate, you feel the tannins a little bit, and the finish is very nice. The finish is not so sweet; it's more acidic, a sort of dark chocolate, a little restrained, but it's very, very fine. The tannins are very fine; they're not really coarse in any way. And rich, delicious, really. Like, this is what you call a delicious wine. It's not necessarily super complex at this stage in terms of trying to peel off the layers, but if you like the kind of exuberant style of California red wines, Napa reds, this is, I think, a classic in that vein. It's certainly not as restrained and as intellectual as the Foreman we've had not so long ago, but also it's not one of those fruit bombs that really just makes you, like, stains your teeth and makes you feel like you're having fruit juice to something at the extreme. So it's really down the middle, very representative of California, very well made, great bottle of wine at prices that are still very reasonable for the region. Cheers, and see you soon.